Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. This is it. Guys. Last review of the Halo TV series. Episode 9, titled Transcendence. Yeah, what a rough ride it's been. Let's go ahead and dive right into it though. We pick up right where we left off in the last episode with the Master Chief staggering a bit after Maquis touched the artifact, causing an EMP throughout the base, disrupting everybody, kind of flying back, a lot of shit going on. So we got him trying to get up, maintain himself. We cut to another scene with Maquis taking the pistol off a Marine, realizing that, oh, I want to go back to the Covenant now, which it seemed like she was kind of maybe potentially switching sides back to the humans, but now she is going back to the Covenant. She takes a hold of Marine's sidearm, shoots one, has another one as a hostage, tells him to take her to the Phantom that's in the hangar, which for some reason is just completely open, not locked down, not secured whatsoever, so I don't know what's going on with that. Then we come back to a scene where the Chief is running to catch after Maquis after he discovers the artifact is gone. Then he runs into the rest of Silver Team to where Vanek is holding Kai prisoner, telling him, still trying to follow Dr. Halsey's orders, to which the Master Chief immediately tries to plead with Vanek and tell him that, you know, Halsey captured them as kids, brainwashed them to be soldiers, things of that nature. And with that being said, you know, they go back and forth, and you can kind of tell that maybe Vanek wants to believe him. He wants to give the Chief a shot because of how much they've been through, what they've been through, tries to give them the benefit of the doubt, but at the same time, you know, he's a programmed soldier. He's a robot, essentially, with all these chips and whatnot inside him that are suppressing his emotions and all that jazz, all that good stuff. To which the Chief continues to tries to walk closer, but Riz raises her weapon to keep the Chief at bay and not allowing him to advance anymore, not wanting them to be able to lower their guard and the Chief be able to, I don't know, gain some kind of leverage over them in case that maybe he's making all this up and said he's going to disarm them to assist Kai. To which then, as the Master Chief the Master Chief continues to try to explain to Vanek that Halsey did all the horrible things that she did, a savior shows up, unexpected, in the shadows, in the dark. None other than Sir Captain Jacob Keyes. Sir Captain Jacob Keyes shows up to let all of the rest of Silver Team know, meaning Vanek and Riz, that the Master Chief is telling the truth and that he helped plan the kidnapping of all of them as children and plotted all their duplicates, to which that died of quote-unquote natural causes, so the parents would never know their children went missing. After they have this little powwow, Vanek comes to the realization, Riz first, but then Vanek comes to the realization, not wanting to accept it, advancing a little bit closer to the Chief, putting his magnum to the Chief's head, and I gotta say, that magnum looks fantastic, phenomenal. Whoever did that prop design, good on you, you deserve a raise. But Vanek advances closer to the Master Chief and eventually lowers his weapon and says that, you know, Maquis is probably heading towards the hangar bay where the Phantom's at. Cut to another scene where Dr. Halsey is in her ship with her assistant, plotting and trying to figure out, you know, did we get a reading when the object went in? Because Dr. Halsey, she's aware, but I don't know what's going through her head right now. You got half a, or maybe not half a dozen, I'm sorry, but like 24 Marines outside of your ship, ready to shoot you down. You need to leave. And this is what her assistant tries to plead with her. Like, look, it doesn't matter. We've got the package. We're secured. I don't know what package he's talking about. I'm not really sure if he's talking about, I don't know, data or something, but he's saying we've got it secured. We need to go. We need to move. We can't be here anymore. We need to leave. These people are going to kill us, arrest us, shoot us down, something. So we cannot be here. To which Dr. Halsey begins to protest, but she's like, you know what, no. Instead, I don't need to do that. Then, cut to a quick scene with the Admiral and Captain Keyes as they try to reason with Dr. Halsey to get her to come in, but she's not. She's not listening, and, you know, they're going to have to take action immediately, to which Kai, earlier in the scene before with the entire Silver Team, decided to split off and said that she was going to go after Dr. Halsey, to which we get quite an amazing CGI scene here where we could see the actual speed and agility, stamina of the Spartans to see exactly how much more superior they are compared to the Marines. and to which Kai sprints down the runway after the ship as it's trying to take off and manages to jump. I don't think it wasn't too far off, but she manages to jump, get on the ship, shoot at the ship a little bit, at the engines and the motors and whatnot on the outside to what damage she can, and then she manages to rip a hole open in the ship, to which she jumps inside, and the look of horror on Dr. Halsey's face and her assistant, which I still can't remember his name. I'm not even sure if she's actually ever said it, to be honest. She gets in there. They try to shut the door to the cockpit, but you know, the bridge, it doesn't work. So it's because, you know, the Spartans are just, for those of you that don't the Spartans are just unbelievably strong, just super soldiers, superhumans to the fullest, full on Captain Americas to the fullest. She rips the door open, Kai rips the door open and goes in to confront Dr. Halsey, and the assistant takes her helmet off. Don't know why she took her helmet off, kind of dumb, and you're going into a hostile environment. Tries to get answers out of Halsey. Halsey's reluctant to give her any answers. Dr. Halsey's assistant tries to hit Kai in the head with a crowbar, but Spartan's bones are basically, especially the Spartan 2's bones, are not capable of being broken, essentially. They're unbreakable. So Kai shakes off the hit, grabs the man by his neck, flings him into the ceiling of the ship, and kills him on impact immediately. Dr. Halsey escapes into the escape pod, and Kai goes down with the ship, to which everybody believes that potentially that Kai might have died, but no, she comes crawling back up to meet the rest of the Silver Team. So, with that, we got to find Dr. Halsey, and then we got to find McKee and the Covenant planet, to which she is taking the artifact at, to which the Chief, Cortana, and the Admiral are working with. And they come up with the theory that, you know, you got to go through a special type of warp space portal of some sort in order to find the ship, because you can't see it with the naked eye or machine reading of that sort. So you have to be like really up close to the planet. The Admiral wants to send 10,000 Marines, but the Chief tells her, you know, you send 10,000 Marines, 10,000 are going to die. So, not good. Send the Spartans. Silver Team gets geared up. Master Chief's in the Pelican and is greeted by Captain Keyes saying that, you know, I'm sorry for everything that I've done, you know. I hope you can forgive me. The Chief basically tells him, you know, the day of reckoning is going to come for him and everybody involved, pretty much. Everybody, including the Master Chief and Silver Team themselves. But that day is not today. They got to go save humanity. So, the Spartans get geared up. They get loaded into the Pelican. Kind of funny, a little bit funny scene here. Between Vanek, Riz, and Kai. Kai having, keep in mind, Kai's emotional suppressor chip has been removed at this point. So she's feeling all emotions 100,000%. She looks at Vanek and Riz and is like, hey, were you guys actually going to shoot me? And they said, absolutely, no question. And she's like, wow, that's cold. To which Vanek responds, were you not going to shoot us? And she says, absolutely, but I would have just felt bad about it. To which Vanek laughs. Little chuckle, little smart-ass chuckle to it. So, moving on. We cut to a quick scene. Not necessarily quick, but we cut to a scene where McKee is on the Covenant planet, to which, again, big props to the CGI, the production department, all around, just, it's phenomenal. Like, they look really, really, for a TV show, like, these look really good. Although I don't know. Sometimes I feel like, yeah, they got the scale right, but sometimes I feel like these elites are too damn big. But we cut to a scene with McKee back on the planet, to which he's greeted by all three prophets. And again, I still don't know why they have Mercy as the leader, just because he's the oldest looking. I mean, I know it's still supposed to be different from the games, but I don't know why they couldn't keep that detail the same. Truth leading. Like, Truth doesn't even say anything. It's just between Mercy and Regret. Which Mercy tells her, you know, you brought us both the artifacts, you know, congratulations, you'll be on the great journey with us here before soon. And then Regret says something to Mercy talking about, you know, I don't know about that. She didn't bring us the head of the Master Chief. And then they kind of go back and forth for a little bit about it. Then we cut to a scene with the Master Chief in space with Silver Team on the Condor, and him having a little bit of a, I'd say a partial heart-to-heart with Cortana, talking about, you know, you had an opportunity to take control of me at any point in time. Why didn't you? And, you know, Cortana says, you know, Dr. Halsey programmed me to learn, and I'm learning that, you know, maybe that's not the best decision, that Dr. Halsey wanted me to take away your humanity, which is the one thing that makes you special, so. And the Master Chief says, well, you know, you still going to try and take me over eventually? And then she's like, yeah, I'll just wait till you're not so emotionally damaged anymore. And they kind of laugh, have a little bit of a moment, move on. It was cool. It was fun to get that little bit of dynamic between the Master Chief and Cortana. Writing's not the greatest, but I still like the interaction there. Well, as they get closer to this special little wormhole in space, whatever you want to call it, that they got to travel through, the ship starts going through lots of electrical failures, fire that Kai has to put out. Vanek's kind of freaking out in the cockpit, not really understanding like what's going on. He doesn't like it, things of that nature. To which they come out of it okay. Yeah, and they come to the Covenant planet. To which they're amazed and just, you know, taken aback. The fact that they have now found the Covenant planet. Which I thought to myself, I don't ever remember the Covenant actually having a home world per se. I know each individual species member of the Covenant did, but I don't remember them actually having like a home planet they all went to. It was just High Charity, as far as I can remember, that they actually were on. But nonetheless, it was still cool. It was still interesting. And I'm okay with it. Doesn't bother me too much. At least not that particular detail. Plenty of other things. We cut to another scene with Dr. Halsey and Miranda Keyes, to where they're having a one-on-one, to where Miranda kind of just lets her know, like, hey, you're finally getting in trouble, and you're going to be executed. You are not going to be sent to exile. You're not going to be put in prison. You're too dangerous to be left alive, and you're going to be executed. And she can't believe that the great Dr. Halsey is finally being held accountable for her actions. To which Dr. Halsey just kind of looks at Miranda. Miranda really doesn't, or I'm sorry, not Miranda, but Dr. Halsey doesn't really say anything, and Miranda kind of looks at her and says, nothing to say? All right, guess we're done here. Halsey then begins to speak up and saying, you know, I tried to keep you away from all this in service to thinking that I was protecting you. You know, typical little bad parent speech she gives her. And then Miranda responds with, goodbye, mother. In a sense, that, you know, she never wants to see her again, and it doesn't really matter because the relationship is dead and gone, and it's gone. It's never happening. To which that's very similar to the books and novels. But we come back to the scene with the Chief and the rest of Silver Team being right overhead of the planet. They're within the planet's gravitational well. They've gone inside the planet now, hovering just over, I don't know how many meters, but they're hovering over above the clouds, getting ready to basically go for a skydive onto the planet. Which this whole scene and all these next scenes outside of some of the weird dialogue, they're great. This was really good Halo. Like, this is the type of stuff I've been wanting to see like all season long, like what we've got a glimpse of in episode 1, episode 5. I'll talk more about that in my final thoughts video of the series as a whole, but this scene in particular, we seen this one I think in the very first trailer they came out with the Chief looking at Silver Team saying, Silver Team on me. They go for a skydive, and it looks great. All this CGI, all the pictures, everything, I mean, it all looks freaking phenomenal. Like, top notch for, I mean, obviously they might do better if they had movie budgets, but with the TV budget that they were given, as I said earlier, dude, this is awesome. It's amazing. So Silver Team leaving the Condor behind, to which we cut to a normal, familiar, reminiscent, nostalgic type of scene from the Halo games, to which you got a bunch of grunt security patrols, and half of them are asleep. If not half of them, maybe all of them are sitting in corners, and they are knocked out cold. To which Silver Team dives on top of them, and of course easily takes them all out. To which again, with the scaling of some of these aliens, like, I don't remember. I know the grunts are like 5 feet tall, and I know their armor makes them look a little bit bigger than normal, but, you know, I don't ever recall the grunts being, you know, this big in comparison to the humans. So I don't know. I don't absolutely know. Then we cut to another scene in which Dr. Halsey is having a seizure. Very interesting. So it's Dr. Halsey is having a bit of a seizure. Miranda starts to have a little bit of reminiscence of something her mother said, to which would be the problem with the clone that Dr. Halsey created for Cortana. So Miranda immediately tells everybody in the room that's not her mother. It's a clone. We don't know where Dr. Halsey is, which we should have all suspected because Dr. Halsey is a lot smarter than what people think. She had a plan B. And the package that they were probably talking about earlier was that. We cut back to the Covenant planet, to which Silver Team has engaged the Covenant, and there are hundreds of Sangheili warriors coming. The elites, for those that don't know what the Sangheili are. The elites are coming after Silver Team, after the Master Chief. They were in the middle of a ceremony, and McKee had touched the object, and Chief was close by. Obviously, he was affected, and then kind of gave his position away, so a grunt warned everybody. And instead of the prophets, like, leaving the planet, or, like, you know, moving around, like, moving away into, like, security of, like, a ship or something, they just kind of hover in the air. I didn't understand that at all. And I'm just like, Kai can still snipe you guys out of the sky. Like, what? Need to go. Silver Team engages the Covenant, to which the Chief is, once McKee stops touching the object, the Chief's back into the fight, and then he gets greeted by a whole, tribe of brutes. To which he engages them, begins to fight them, and it's a cool little, CGI scene with, going back and forth, first-person shooter of the Chief, tapping those brutes up. And then the brute chieftain from episode 5 shows back up. And Chief is like, well, shit. Here we go. Get into it. To which Riz tries to be a hero here. Not a smart move, sister. Bad play. To which she tries to get leverage and height over the brute, and to which this brute chieftain, obviously you can tell he's been around for a long time. Man grabs her by the leg and slams her down. I believe he also punches her in the head as well. To which then the Chief is forced to push up and engage him immediately to get his attention, so that way he doesn't utterly annihilate Riz, to which he was going to with that gravity hammer. The Chief is still trying to fend off the brutes a little bit. The tribe of brutes that is rolling with this particular chieftain. To which once he manages to take them all down, because he didn't take them down before. Once he does manage to take them down, he grabs the gravity hammer out of one of them, because I guess one of the other ones was a chieftain as well. This other guy must be like a top tier chieftain or something, like Tartarus or Atriox or Decimus, or I can't remember what the guy's name is from Infinite, the second in command. But Chief takes a hold of the gravity hammer off of the lower tier chieftain, and he throws it at the top tier chieftain to get him away from killing Riz with his gravity hammer. So we then cut to another scene to where the Chief and the Chief is going to basically, this brute is about to kill him. This brute has got him on his back on the ground, and McKee decides to touch the object. Not really sure why she decided to do that, but she did. She touched the object, and once she decided to touch the object, it took her and the Master Chief to Halo. To which she says, I don't ever want to leave this place. Like, I want to be in here forever. But, you know, the bodies are still in the real world. Like, this is all in their heads. Like, their bodies are still in the real world. There's no getting away from this. Vanek is freaking out in the middle of the fight, telling Kai that she has to be the one to get the Master Chief out of this trance that he's in. Got to get him out. We need him back in the fight immediately, because we're basically getting our asses handed to us here. To which a charged up plasma pistol, assuming coming from a grunt, I'm not sure where it came from, shot at Vanek and knocked him out of the high ground position that he had. Falls down. To which then, as Kai tries to get the Master Chief out of the trance, she shoots McKee. And McKee goes down. Chief kind of looks at Kai like, what's going on? You know, Kai says, I'm sorry, I had to do what I had to do. Chief kind of ignores it, moves on, gets back into the fight. Well, then a plasma grenade, which I didn't understand this at all. Plasma grenade gets stuck on Riz and Kai tries to help her get it off, which, you know, we all know that can't work. It blows them up, and I didn't understand why they didn't. I thought they were both going to die right in there, because the plasma grenade kills people in Halo. Being stuck like that. So I don't know, I didn't understand. But the Chief tries to go after the brute chieftain, and then which the Brute Chieftain, he tries to go after him again, and then the Brute Chief, he's getting shot up and he's getting just absolutely beat down. He tells Cortana, Cortana tells him that you can't save the team and get the artifact. You have to pick one or the other. To which the chief says, well, then you do it. I'm going to die. Basically sacrifice myself here. You take over my body and you do it. You come through here and save the team. To which she's very reluctant to do, but the chief continues to go out there, gets shot, and then he gets hit with the gravity hammer once his shields are completely down. He gets hit with the gravity hammer. He flies through the structure a little bit, knocks over a little mini structure bridge, falls down, basically is gone. Cortana has to take control of his body. Now, this scene was cool, but it was like a little weird. There was like some little weird aimbot stuff going on. It's like, I don't think Cortana fully understood how to like be human quite yet. So, of course, Cortana takes over the chief's body. She's got perfect aim, aimbot, targeting, essentially cheating in a way. And she starts lighting up all the Covenant with the plasma pistol. She took 2 plasma pistols off of 2 grunts and starts just unloading and annihilating everyone in their path. There's nobody stands a chance, and this is the type of stuff like I've been waiting, like the action, the Chief Cortana scene, Master Cortana, Chief Cortana, Cortana Chief, something like that, whatever you want to call it. Like, this stuff is great. Like, this is what this whole series should have been about, not boring dialogue and character assassination, in my opinion. It just pointless character stories. And plus, we didn't even get any Quan in this episode. Like, I was not disappointed by that by no means, but like, what's the whole point of her character? Like, just so the Resistance, like, we're fighting a bigger fight. The Unicy's fighting a bigger fight here. So I don't know. I don't understand. But anyways, we get a quick scene where the Brute Chieftain tries to come after the chief again, realizing he's up. To which Cortana hacks into the Condor, targets the Brute Chieftain, and lights him up with the missiles, which I don't even know why they didn't use the Condor earlier in the episode to help provide air support against all those Sangheili warriors that were moving up. Didn't understand that. They do it here at the end, and they knock off hundreds of them. To which, when McKee touched the artifact earlier and brought Chief into that trance, she also knocked off a bunch of dozens of Sangheili warriors with that blast. But I just, like I said, I don't understand why the Condor was not brought in earlier. I'm not really sure what was going on there, what the thought process was. Like, I don't know. Kai, Riz, or not Kai and Riz, but Kai and Vanek are in awe as to what's going on. They think the chief is just absolutely like wrecking shop and tearing things up, but they freak out when he goes to try and touch the artifact because they're like, he's going to go right back into the trance. But obviously the chief being gone, Cortana in control, it's not going to affect Cortana. It's not going to affect the Master Chief's body with his spirit soul gone, no longer being there. So he grabs it, carries it to the Condor. As the Condor continues to shoot at the incoming Covenant forces, the Prophet of not Truth. Jeez, I want to say Truth because Truth is the leader, not Mercy. Mercy yells at his Covenant warriors to stop the Spartans from getting away with the object, and obviously to no avail. Riz, she's got a severe lethal wound in her chest from the plasma grenade. So Cortana Chief rips off the armor, piece of the armor, goes to get a torch and cauterizes the wound. Very smart, keeps her alive until basically they can get back to the base and give her proper care. To which there's an alarm system that goes off in the cockpit. The chief has to go to attend to it. You know, they cut to a scene with the Condor in space, and then we get the reveal of Dr. Halsey sitting just outside of what I believe would be the New Alexandria city. Again, I'm not 100% sure. Maybe I didn't pay attention or catch it, but they're sitting outside of New Alexandria. So obviously that was a clone. They captured, as stated before. Interesting enough, they also had a clone of her assistant that came to retrieve her and said that there's a shuttle waiting to take you off planet. So Dr. Halsey manages to make her escape. Probably gonna head back to Earth, I'd imagine. Chief gets in the cockpit, starts flying the Condor, kind of looking out. And this is the Master Chief I've been waiting to see. This silent killer warrior. Even though it's not even the chief himself, it's Cortana controlling the body. This is Chief being the Master Chief that I know of. And we got it like right at the end of the episode. Kai comes up to the cockpit, kind of looks at the Master Chief and, asks, "Hey, John, is that you?" Being concerned, obviously, with seeing how he was able to touch the object and not be affected at all. Obviously, that's going to raise some red flags, make everybody a little uneasy about what's going on. So once Kai asks that question, Chief kind of gives her a little bit of a side look, like a normal Master Chief from the video games looks at her for a hot second, turns his head back to the cockpit windows of the Condor and begins to focusing on taking them home. Overall, I'm going to give the episode probably 7 out of 10. Maybe even a 7.5. No, actually, take it back. I'll give it an 8. I'll give it an 8 out of 10 because of the action alone. The action alone was great. Action alone was great, and it was phenomenal. So, but all right, guys, it's going to do it for me. I'll see you guys on the channel in the next video. Everybody have a wonderful day and enjoy yourselves. Be sure to like, comment, subscribe below. Let me know what you guys think. All right. I'll see you guys later.